Hello students, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching me, you can take my greetings accordingly. So if you remember, in last class we have discussed about the Gandhian constructive work and Swaraj Party. We were discussing about the period between non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movement. In that particular topic, now the important factor that has paved the path for the civil disobedience movement was the Great Depression. What is the meaning of depression? Actually, in simple words, it is a situation where the value of money, the value of money declined. Value of money declined means the purchasing power of money declined, unemployment went higher and higher, production went lower. So ultimately, it is the situation of economic crisis, and that had happened after the First World War. If you remember, in the First World War, there was a huge destruction of manpower as well as the resources. All the countries, those who have participated in the war, directly or indirectly, they always suffered with a great loss. India, being a colony of England, also participated in the war, and you know that India had to pay huge sum of money as in the form of tax, so that Britishers could get enough resources to fight in the war. This was the scenario. If you remember, there was a term we have discussed about Britishers has raised the taxes to meet their war needs, because England was using huge sum of money in the war and India was a colony, so they have raised the taxes. So ultimately what had happened after the war, even though England had won, but the economic crisis started, and that became very acute with the fall of the American share market. After the First World War, if you remember, America emerged the supreme economic power, and America financed loan to a number of European countries. Even England had borrowed huge sum of money. America had also financed loan to Germany also. So actually, the world economy on that time was running on the finance given by America. But the American economy itself collapsed by 1929. And with that, the whole world was under great economic depression. In Hindi, it is called Vishwavyapi Arthik Mandi. Then what had happened? Under that circumstances, all over the world, there was an atmosphere of crisis. India was also affected under that particular crisis. What were the impact that Indians were felt? Number one, that economic depression led to the fall in the agriculture production, or prices of the agricultural products has been declined very sharply. Why? Because this was the period from India, export of raw material had been just stopped. Means England was not exporting any goods from India. And on that time, in India, a number of farmers were producing goods, agricultural products, to meet the needs of the British industries. But after the war, what had happened? No export was there. Ultimately, what had Due to that, there was a crisis, especially in the villages. Export had declined, and then after periods were unable to sell the products because now, directly or indirectly, income of each and every Indian has been declined. So now, Indians were also unable to consume more. So what had happened? Market was flooded with the goods. But the prices of the goods were went high. Why? Because due to the depression, the purchasing power of money has been declined very sharply. In class 9, you people have read about Nazism. If you remember, people had to pay huge sum of money for taking only a packet of bread. In Germany, after the First World War, due to the economic crisis, people were carrying money in a car only for purchasing bread. This was the scenario. And unemployment was also increased. It was the common scenario all over the world. India was also affected. So what I meant to say? I meant to say that there was a great economic crisis and Indian economy was totally collapsed. Peasants, workers, farmers, they all suffered. So in that scenario, the situation was very much grave. Now there was a question. The question was what India should do. This was the period when Indians were facing a number of difficulties, and this had given an opportunity for Gandhi to sit for another massive mass movement, that will be the civil disobedience movement. But before that, one more incident had happened that also compelled Gandhi, compelled India to go for another mass movement, and that was the Simon Commission. So next topic that we will discuss, that was Simon Commission. Now students, next topic, in that particular journey towards the civil disobedience movement is the Simon Commission. Do you know about the Simon Commission? I think you have heard and you might be read if you remember what you have read in class 8. These all were the part of your chapter. Nevertheless, coming back to the point, I will help you out to know about this topic. Simon Commission that came in India in 1928, having one objective. Objective was to discuss future of India with the Indian leaders. This was the official objective of the commission. But before that, we discuss the Simon Commission in detail. Just try to find out the causes why Simon Commission sent to India by British government. Actually, a new Tory government coming in England. After the war, a new government came in, First World War, came in England. In India, we have already seen non-professional movement was started after the First World War, and thereafter there was complete unrest in India. And meanwhile, what had happened? It was the Great Economic Depression. Now Indians were suffered a lot because Indian resources were looted by the Britishers. So Indians were unable to earn their dues of livelihood. This was the scenario. So there was unrest in India. This was the period when revolutionary activities were increased. Revolutionary activities, remember, led by Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, Rajguru. They were the revolutionaries, those who believed in the policy of bomb and pistol. They felt that if they terrorized Britishers by killing them, by attacking them, Britishers will left India and India become independent. Meanwhile, Swaraj Party had also created the problem for the functioning of the British government. So there was a kind of unrest England was not wishing to continue such kind of condition in India because for England, India was a means of full of treasure, khajana. And when Indian economy or Indians will just follow the rules, being a good citizens, that would give more and more taxes to British. But Indians were just completely going against the British to satisfy them. British were trying to show Indians that British government is very much aware and keen to address their problems, to give the solutions. That is the one reason. One more reason was there. In 1919, there was the Act. It is called Montagu-Chelmsford Act or the Government of India Act. The Government of India Act. It was also called Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms. So it was introduced in India and implemented in 1920. If you remember, at the time of First World War, to get the support of Indians, British government has promised that after the war, British government will consider the demands of Indians of self-rule. In that particular collection, they have drafted the Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms, that was also called the Government Act of India 1919 and implemented in 1920. But Indians were dissatisfied with this particular act because there was nothing about the granting the demands of Swaraj as they had promised at the time of getting support of the Indians. So there was a complete dissatisfaction. But one thing is there, in that particular act there was a provision. What was the provision? The provision was that after 10 years, the implementation and consequences of this act will be examined. Means कि 10 साल के बाद इस एक्ट को एग्जामिन किया जाएगा कि इसको इंप्लीमेंट करने से क्या लाभ हुआ, क्या कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस आए. तो actually the time, the due date for its review was 1929. But the commission has been set few years early. Why? Because on seeing the scenario in India, there was all over unrest, as I have explained, in the background of the economic depression and the First World War. So in that particular scenario, they had sent the Simon Commission to discuss the issues of Indians' problem and suggest reforms in the Act of 1919. So with that particular objective, the commission had arrived in 1928 in India, headed by Sir John Simon. Sir John Simon was the chief of that particular commission. As I have written, the function of constitutional system of India and suggest changes. I am talking about this. So in that scenario, once the Simon Commission reached India, but Commission had not been welcomed. Commission was greeted with slogan, "Go back Simon," and black flags. Means Indians had not cooperated, not supported with this particular group of members sent by the Tory government to discuss the issues. No party of India had discussed Simon Commission, and they all opposed Simon Commission. Why they have opposed? The basic reason behind that, in that particular committee, there was no Indians in it. अब आप बोलेंगे कि Indians नहीं है तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Actually, the notion was that commission had been announced coming to India with the objective to discuss the issues of Indian problems. And the Indians were having their argument that until or unless India's member shall not be in the commission, how these Englishmen, those who are not knowing about India, they read only India in the books, they can't understand the problems of Indians and India. To know India, they should know about Indians. And since India is a diverse land with a diverse population, so people were having different kinds of notions, different kinds of demands. More or less, they all were just shouting for more and more rights, reduction in taxes. We have already gone through. When the Gandhians started non-cooperation movement, there was a topic, different strands within the movement. How different group of people took the different notion of Swaraj. So Swaraj is over here. So this was the demand of Indians that there must be some Indians, but the demands had to be fused. In that particular connection, the Simon Commission all over India, wherever commission arrived, it was greeted with the slogan, "Go back and welcome with black flags." A question will be asked in your examination. What was the Simon Commission? When did Simon Commission came to India? It was also, this kind of question may be also asked in NTS examination. And 3 marks question may be asked, why did Simon Commission greeted with the slogan, "Go back Simon"? Or why did Simon Commission not welcomed by Indians? Or why did Simon Commission opposed by Indians? So you have to remember related to this particular topic what the questions can be asked. And this question may be asked for 3 marks. 5 marks questions नहीं पूछे जाएंगे इस टॉपिक से, 3 मार्क्स से क्वेश्चन पूछे जाएंगे और 1 नंबर के क्वेश्चन से पूछे जा सकते हैं. तो इसमें ये हमारी जर्नी एक पूरी होने जा रही है. अब हम सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट के मुहाने पर नॉकिंग. So once on seeing huge opposition, strong opposition of Simon Commission by Indians, in that scenario, Viceroy Lord Irwin on that time, who was the Viceroy of India? It was Lord Irwin. What is the meaning of Viceroy? Viceroy means representative of British Crown in India. Actually, he was the supreme officer of British government in India. So on that time, Viceroy was Lord Irwin. On seeing such a grave condition, Viceroy has announced about our offer that British government is ready to give dominion status to India, and for that Irwin offered Indian leaders to sit and take part in the round table conference in England. It will be the first राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस. तो इरविन ने क्या कहा, जब भारतीयों के अंदर इतना विरोध देखा उन्होंने, तो उन्होंने एक नई चाल, ये अंग्रेज सत्ता की एक नई लोक लुभावन चाल उन्होंने ऑफर किया कि हम डोमिनियन स्टेटस देने के लिए तैयार हैं और इसकी तैयारी के लिए भारत के नेताओं से हम बात करेंगे, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री बात करेंगे, तो उसके लिए आप सभी कहां आइए, इंग्लैंड आइए. किस लिए आइए? राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस में भाग लेने. तो ये फर्स्ट राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस होने जा रही है कहां? इंग्लैंड में. ये होगी फर्स्ट राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस. अब गॉड रिएक्शन ऑफ कांग्रेस एंड गांधी. As far as dominion status is concerned, Gandhi outrightly rejected the proposal of dominion status. अब समझते हैं dominion status होता क्या है. Dominion status is very much similar about the self rule or home rule. Means Indians will be given more and more powers to administrate their day-to-day life. Means भारतीयों को गवर्नमेंट में शामिल करना और उनको अधिक से अधिक अधिकार देना पिटी सब्जेक्ट्स को डील करने के लिए. यानी छोटे छोटे जो मसले होते हैं, मामले से सब्जेक्ट कहते हैं, जैसे हम कह सकते हैं एग्रीकल्चर की बात कर सकते हैं, इरिगेशन की बात कर सकते हैं. इस प्रकार के जो सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, जैसे गवर्नमेंट में भी आप देखते हैं कि कोई रेलवे मिनिस्टर होता है, कोई फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर होता है, तो वो उस डिपार्टमेंट को देखेगा. तो भारतीयों को छोटे छोटे विषय दिए गए, उस पर वो रूल करने का अधिकार देने की बात यहाँ कही गई. लेकिन इसका मतलब आजादी नहीं थी. अभी भी जो मेजर सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, सुप्रीमेसी ब्रिटेन की होगी, भारत के अधिकार उनका ही होगा, और उनके पास मेजर सब्जेक्ट होंगे, जैसे डिफेंस उनके पास होगा, फाइनेंस उनके पास होगा, ट्रांसपोर्ट उनके पास होगा। तो मेजर इश्यूज उनके पास, फॉरेन अफेयर्स उनके पास होगी। यह है डोमिनियन स्टेटस की बात। तो यहां पे इरविन ने कहा कि वी आर रेडी टू गिव द डोमिनियन स्टेटस, एंड फॉर दैट we have to sit together and discuss about the future of India in the collection of dominion status in England, and he offered to come and just take part in the first roundtable conference that was held in 1930. But Congress and Gandhi rejected this offer of dominion status. Actually इस ऑफर में क्या था, ये भेग ऑफर था। भेग का मतलब अस्पष्ट। इस ऑफर में क्या, इस पे कहीं भी क्लियर नहीं था कि कब तक भारतीयों को ये अधिकार देने की विषय में अंग्रेजी सरकार ने सोचा है। There was no clear-cut information regarding the implementation of this particular status. Number 8. Number 2. Gandhi has said, while rejecting this offer of dominion status, गांधी ने कहा कि ये एक उस बैंक की एक ऐसी चेक है जिसकी डेट ऑलरेडी एक्सपायर हो चुकी है। मींस अ पोस्ट डेटेड चेक whose date has been expired, मतलब ये पोस्ट डेटेड चेक है, भविष्य में इसका इस्तेमाल होगा। जब साथ में क्या कहा उन्होंने, whose date has been expired, मतलब उन्होंने कहा कि अब इंडियंस को डोमिनियन स्टेटस नहीं चाहिए, अब इंडियंस को क्या चाहिए, कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस। कहा पोस्ट डेटेड कि भविष्य में देंगे, लेकिन कब देंगे क्लियर नहीं है। लेकिन गांधी की तरफ से क्या था, इंडियंस के लिए क्या था कि ये इसकी डेट खत्म हो गई, यानी कि अब इस पे हम काम नहीं करेंगे। नाउ द डिमांड्स ऑफ इंडियंस हैज मूव्ड अहेड फ्रॉम स्वराज टू पूर्ण स्वराज, मींस कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस। बच्चों आपको याद होगा कि इस घटना, ये तीसरी मैं बात कर रहा हूं कि राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस का ऑफर किया उन्होंने, ये इसके कनेक्शन में, लेकिन इसके पीछे कौन इंपॉर्टेंट घटना हुई थी? वो घटना क्या थी? अगर आपको याद हो तो वो घटना थी 1929 का क्या, लाहौर कांग्रेस। लाहौर कांग्रेस जिसमें कांग्रेस पार्टी ने कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस के रेजोल्यूशन को एक्सेप्ट किया और डिमांड रखी कि भारत को अब पूरी आजादी चाहिए, कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस, पूर्ण स्वराज। और अब भारत की आजादी की लड़ाई नए युग में प्रवेश करती है, फ्रॉम स्वराज टू पूर्ण स्वराज। तो अब हम नेक्स्ट टॉपिक की इस विषय में जानेंगे कि ये लाहौर कांग्रेस है क्या, इसकी क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है। तो बच्चों अब अगला टॉपिक है हमारा लाहौर कांग्रेस 1929। Now students, one of the important topic that has decided the direction of Indian freedom struggle was the Lahore session of Congress. Lahore session of Congress means the Congress party met at Lahore in 1999. At present, Lahore is in Pakistan. In that particular session of Congress, in that particular meeting of Congress, these meetings, if you are wondering why I am talking about such kind of conference, Congress meeting, what is the connection between that? Actually, Congress committee or congressmen sit together and decide what they have to do next. If you remember, every time before starting any mass movement by the Congress, those proposals must be approved by the Congress. You have seen in case of non-cooperation movement, there was a need that Congress should rectify, should accept this proposal. In case of Constitutional Swaraj Party, again there was a need that Congress party allowed its function. So as over here. So in that particular session headed by Jawaharlal Nehru, he succeeded his father Motilal Nehru. Earlier Motilal Nehru was the president of Congress, and now Jawaharlal Nehru became the president of Congress party. Under his presidency, in that particular session of Congress, Congress accepted the proposal of Purna Swaraj, means complete independence, and demanded from the British government that Indians need complete independence. That means British rule should not be continued in India. It has been also decided that from next year, means from 1930, 26 January is going to be celebrated as an Independence Day. Yes, you have heard correctly. Independence Day. Confused? It should not be. Over here, it is a symbolic way of celebrating Independence Day, showing the jig of Indians that Indians are not ready to accept British rule for any movement in India. मतलब ये एक प्रतीकात्मक विरोध था जो भारतीयों की भावनाओं का प्रदर्शन करती कि भारतीय अब ब्रिटिश रूल को थोड़ा भी भारत में बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे। भारत की आजादी 15 अगस्त को हुई 1947 में, बट यहां पे मैं फिर से कह रहा हूं कि प्रतीकात्मक विरोध था, विरोध दिखाने का एक तरीका। और इस दिन जुलूस निकाले गए, सत्याग्रही धरने देते थे, वंदे मातरम गाते हुए गलियों में घूमे, जगह जगह झंडे फहराए गए, पुलिस ने इनका विरोध नहीं किया, लाठियां भी चली। लेकिन ये भारतीयों ने पहली बार एक नई मांग के साथ, कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस के साथ इन्होंने अपनी लड़ाई को आगे बढ़ाया। तो बच्चों 1929 का सेशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि लड़ाई कहां से लेकर कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए, कहां से कहां, पूर्ण स्वराज, स्वराज टू पूर्ण स्वराज। पहले क्या था? स्वराज, सेल्फ रूल, और अब क्या है? कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस। ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। तो बच्चों आपसे इससे सवाल क्या पूछे जाएंगे, ध्यान दीजिएगा। इससे सवाल पूछे जाते हैं एक नंबर के सवाल क्या पूछे जाएंगे। एक तो मैप का क्वेश्चन होगा कि यहाँ पे लाहौर सेशन ऑफ कांग्रेस लोकेटेड एट लेवल ऑफ द मैप ऑफ इंडिया। तो लाहौर आप मैप को देख लोगे और चैप्टर के एंड में मैं मैप क्वेश्चन जब करवाऊंगा तो वहां पे आपको समझ में आएगा कि लाहौर कहां है, कि आपको याद रखना है कि लाहौर को लेवल करना, इंडिकेट करना, और इसकी इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है। ये भी पूछा जा सकता है कि व्हाट इज द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ लाहौर सेशन। तो क्या देंगे कि डिमांड पूर्ण स्वराज की एक्सेप्ट की गई। और पहले भी आप पढ़ते रहे होंगे और यहाँ मैं फिर से रिवाइज करता हूँ कि क्यों 26 जनवरी ही हमारे लिए एक इंपॉर्टेंट है। एक 15 अगस्त और 26 जनवरी क्यों? 26 जनवरी हम कहते हैं कि उस दिन भारत का संविधान लागू हुआ, रिपब्लिक बना। आप जानते हैं भारत का संविधान 26 नवंबर 1949 को कंप्लीटली एक्सेप्टेड हो चुकी थी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन असेंबली में। इट वाज प्रिपेयर्ड, वेल प्रिपेयर्ड, but it was implemented on 26 January 1950. Means after 2 months. Why? The farmers of the Indian Constitution waited for 2 more months to implement, to impose the Constitution of India, only because of this particular historical day. Since 1930, 26 January has been observed as an Independence Day in India till 15th August till 1947. Means 1930 से लेकर के 1930 से 1947 तक हम 26 जनवरी को सेलिब्रेट करते रहे। यानी भारत की आजादी 15 अगस्त के पहले 1947 तक 26 जनवरी को हम लोग सेलिब्रेट करते रहे। कैसे? इंडियन इंडिपेंडेंस डे। तो हमारे लिए एक डे इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया, हमारे जज्बातों के साथ जुड़ा हुआ दिन था, जो भारत की आजादी की लड़ाई का एक महत्वपूर्ण दिवस था। तो अब यहाँ पे उसी दिन को यादगार बनाने के लिए, वो हमारी मेमोरीज में रहे, हमारे हृदय में बसे, हमारे हृदय में उस दिन के प्रति, उस आजादी के योद्धाओं के प्रति एक सम्मान हो, इसीलिए 2 महीने के बाद 26 जनवरी को ही कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया को कंप्लीटली इंपोज किया। तो बच्चों अब मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप लोग ये चीजें समझ चुके होंगे कि लाहौर सेशन का इंपॉर्टेंस क्या था और क्या उसमें चीजें हुई। अब हम आगे नेक्स्ट जो टॉपिक है, इसी कनेक्शन में आपने देखा कि भारत की स्थिति काफी गंभीर हो चुकी है इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस के कारण, और अंग्रेजी लोग उनकी बातों पर ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं और परिस्थितियां बदल गई इस लाहौर सेशन के बाद और साइमन कमीशन के बाद। नाउ द मूवमेंट फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल ऑफ इंडिया इज एंटरिंग इनटू अ न्यू एरा एंड नाउ Gandhi is going to write a letter to Viceroy Irving that is called a letter of Gandhi to Lord Irving comprising 11 full demands। गांधी एक पत्र लिखेंगे वायसराय को, जिसमें वो भारतीयों के 11 मुख्य मांगों को रखेंगे और ये उन्हें एक प्रकार का अल्टीमेटम देंगे कि अगर ये डिमांड नहीं मानी गई तो कांग्रेस इज compelled to start a mass movement known as the civil disobedience movement। तो नेक्स्ट हम लोग पढ़ेंगे गांधी के द्वारा लिखे गए उस पत्र के विषय में जो वो इरविन को लिखेंगे, वो इम्पोर्टेंट है। Now students, this Focus on these particular points. A letter of 11 demands wrote by Gandhi to Lord Irwin. And in that particular scenario, Gandhi wrote a letter to Viceroy Irwin, who was the Viceroy, the supreme officer of British government in India, representative of British crown, राजा का प्रतिनिधि. और ये जो 11 फुल डिमांड थी, याद रखिए, फर्स्ट राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस की वहां पे इन्विटेशन है, गांधी ने रिजेक्ट किया, डोमिनियन स्टेटस को रिफ्यूज करते हुए कहा कि पोस्ट डेटेड चेक है. अब उस सिनेरियो में गांधी ने एक 11 फुल डिमांड की लेटर लिखी और एक अल्टीमेटम दिया कि इस डिमांड्स को पूरा करेंगे. अब क्या हुआ? ये डिमांड्स क्या है? ये डिमांड्स कुछ जनरल और स्पेसिफिक सभी इश्यूज को लेकर. देखिए एक बार ये चर्चा की बात आती है कि 11 फुल डिमांड prepared by Gandhi was a very much flexible invasion. Means Gandhi had tried his level best to include the demands of all the different sections of Indians so that they could feel that Congress is fighting for their interest. Because actually it is the background of the civil disobedience movement. Gandhi was trying to take all those issues that suffered interest so that different sections of society should associate themselves with the Gandhian movement. So this is the reason why Gandhian, this later 11 for demand was very much flexible and comprehensive in nature. It comprising some general issues as well as some specific issues. I have given some examples of those demands. What were some important demands are there? Prohibition intoxicant liquor, शराबबंदी की बात. Changes the exchange ratio between the rupee and sterling. ये rupee और sterling के विषय में आप आगे चैप्टर में पढ़ेंगे. इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं पढ़ना है, हिस्ट्री नहीं पढ़ना है. मैं यहाँ पर आपको ब्रीफ कर सकता हूँ. ये जब इंडिया और इंग्लैंड में जो बिजनेस हो रही थी, तो हमारे यहाँ रुपीस था करेंसी और उनकी स्टर्लिंग की बात हो रही थी इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में. तो यहाँ पे इंडियन जो गुड्स की कीमत है वो किस रूप में पे करेंगे, तो उसमें रुपीस और स्टर्लिंग में बिजनेस हो रही थी. यानी भारतीयों को जो कीमत है रुपये में मिलती थी और यहाँ से इंग्लैंड से जो सामान आती थी उसकी कीमत में स्टर्लिंग में पे करते थे. तो होता क्या था कि एक स्टर्लिंग की कीमत रुपीस में काफी अधिक होती थी, यानी कि उन्होंने रुपीस की वैल्यू कम कर रखी थी. इससे क्या हुआ था कि इंडियंस वर पेइंग मोर फॉर द ब्रिटिश मैन्युफैक्चर गुड. मींस यहाँ से पैसा अधिक जाता है इंग्लैंड के पास, जबकि भारत का सामान जो लेके जाते थे उसकी कीमत को कम देते थे क्योंकि भारतीयों के पैसे की उन्होंने वैल्यू कम रखी थी. सिंपल आप इतना समझ सकते हैं. तो गांधी वाज आल्सो रेज दिस इशू. इससे क्या होता, इंडियन बिजनेसमैन को फायदा होता, पीजेंट्स को फायदा होता. तो अलग अलग ग्रुप्स के लोगों ने डिमांड्स को एसोसिएट करना शुरू कर दिया. फिर देखिए रिडक्शन इन लैंड रेवेन्यू, यानी जो भूमि के ऊपर कर है किसानों के लिए वहां पे घटोतरी. ये किसानों की डिमांड है. एबोलिशन ऑफ सॉल्ट टैक्स, ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज़ गांधी इज गोइंग टू raise this issue, and on this issue the civil disobedience movement was going to be started. If you remember, England was going on into an economic crisis period after the First World War, and the Great Economic Depression was there. English economy was also collapsed. So on that time, England was trying to raise more and more revenue, and for that, India was a colony. So there was no reason for them to raise the tax without any consequences. So they imposed a number of new taxes, including those new taxes, there was a salt tax. Means, according to the salt tax, for manufacturing salt, there must be permit. What is permit? Means, those who got the permit, only they could manufacture salt. मतलब जो सॉल्ट बनाएंगे उनको परमिशन लेनी पड़ेगी, परमिट लेनी पड़ेगी, लाइसेंस लेना पड़ेगा, उसके बदले उन्हें फीस देना पड़ेगा. जो सॉल्ट बेचेंगे उनको भी परमिशन लेनी पड़ेगी और वहां पर उनको फिर से क्या करना पड़ेगा, टैक्स देना पड़ेगा. तो मतलब सॉल्ट के ऊपर उन्होंने टैक्स इंपोज कर दिया. अभी तक क्या था सिनेरियो इन इंडिया? सॉल्ट वाज अ नेचुरल रिसोर्स एंड दोज हु वर producing, they can without any tax, and it was sold in the market openly without any restrictions. But British government has imposed salt tax on India, and Gandhi took this He described salt tax, one of the most oppressive tax imposed by Britishers in India. He raised this issue in such a way to unite Indians, as he said that salt is a common household used by everyone, and Britishers were trying to just impose such kind of tax and destroy that Indian sentiments of unity. So salt tax was described as one of the most oppressive tax imposed by Britishers. We will discuss about this while discussing the civil disobedience movement in detail. Again, few demands were reduction in military and civil administration, means यहाँ पे जो खर्च हो रहा है उसके ऊपर मिलिट्री और सिविल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के ऊपर एक्सपेंसेस लिखेंगे आप, रिडक्शन इन एक्सपेंसेस in military and civil administration, impose custom duties on foreign goods. Custom duties, इंग्लैंड की बनी हुई सामान हिंदुस्तान में सस्ती, उनके सामान पे ड्यूटी कम लगती थी, टैक्स कम लगती थी, तो भारतीय सामान नहीं बिक पा रहे, भारतीय सामान महंगे होते थे। तो यहाँ पे Indians had raised the demand, means Gandhi has raised the demand कि जो फॉरेन क्लॉथ्स हमारे यहाँ आ रहे फॉरेन गुड्स उस पे भी कस्टम ड्यूटी लगाया जाए, ताकि भारत का सामान और ब्रिटिश मैन्युफैक्चर्ड सामान दोनों की कीमत लगभग बराबर हो, ताकि इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द इंडियंस कि वो जिस सामान को खरीदना चाहे खरीद सके। नियमतः तो ये होना चाहिए कि फॉरेन गुड्स जब हिंदुस्तान में आए वो सामान इस देश में बन रहा हो तो फॉरेन गुड्स की कीमत यहाँ के बने हुए सामान से कुछ अधिक होनी चाहिए, ये है नियम। परंतु यहाँ पे अंग्रेजों ने अपने फायदे के लिए भारतीय सामानों पर टैक्स बढ़ा दिया और उनके अपने सामानों पर टैक्स घटा दिया। फिर इसी प्रकार से रिलीज ऑफ पॉलिटिकल प्रिजनर्स, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है। पॉलिटिकल प्रिजनर्स का मतलब क्या होता है? मतलब those who were not indulged in any kind of violent activity. This was the issue on which Gandhi was criticized. आगे इरविन गांधी पैक्ट होगा, वहां पे हम देखेंगे कि जब वो पैक्ट होती है तो उसकी बुनियाद यही है। तो वहां पे उसमें भगत सिंह जेल में थे, सेंट्रल असेंबली में बॉम्ब फेंका था उन्होंने, वो गिरफ्तार थे, उनकी मौत की सजा मिल चुकी थी। तो गांधी को यहाँ पे क्रिटिसाइज किया जाता है कि गांधी ने भगत सिंह को छुड़वाया नहीं। कई बार लोग कहते हैं, नई जनरेशन के लोग कहते हैं कि गांधी ने भगत सिंह को भगा दिया, ये सही नहीं है। ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट वाज नॉट रेडी टू एक्सेप्ट एनी डिमांड टू रिलीज any prisoners those who have been found indulged in any kind of violent activities. Gandhi had tried their best to negotiate. Gandhi and Bhagat Singh both admits that both are the heroes. Gandhi accepted Bhagat Singh as a great freedom fighter, and he salutes his sacrifices. Even though their methods were different, but they both were respected each other. They don't have such kind of differences. Gandhi had tried his level best, but he failed because British government was very much stick with his conviction that he was the man who thrown a bomb in the Central Assembly. Even though the intention was not to kill anyone, because bomb was very much harmless, it was not so much powerful to kill anyone. Bhagat Singh has tried only to create a sound to the ears of the Britishers to hear the voice of Indians. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। तो यहाँ पे गांधी ने कोशिश की उसको बचाने की, लेकिन वो संभव नहीं होता है। तो कई बार लोग कहते हैं कि गांधी ने भगत सिंह को मरवा दिया, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। ये हमारा सब्जेक्ट भी नहीं है, ये कंट्रोवर्शियल इशू है। फिर भी मैंने कहा कि कई बार ये बातें बच्चों के दिमाग में आ जाती है, वो मैं उसको क्लियरफाई कर रखा। तो ये कुछ ऐसे इश्यूज थे, और आपको पता है these demands were completely outrightly rejected by the British government in India. और यहीं से शुरू होगी the civil disobedience movement on the issue of salt, और यहीं से होगा salt march, जिसको लोग डांडी मार्च भी कहते हैं, ऐतिहासिक डांडी मार्च। तो next topic that we will discuss about the civil disobedience movement with respect to the salt tax. Thank you.